The Horror That Goes Around by Dave Tor. That old saying, what goes round comes round, should be heeded, for if only Arlington Weems understood the implications of those words, and that they do have a real meaning of substance in our reality, then today would have had a very different outcome for him. All too often one cannot see the dangers that may be near, especially when it's right next to them, for you can never really know if that stranger standing just over there, maybe inches away in their thoughts from becoming a lethal, mindless killing machine, losing focus of one's morals and striking out to achieve the only thing that makes any sense to them, the death of anybody. Mr. Weems, a slender 6-foot-tall, wormy-looking man with beady eyes, pencil mustache, wearing his usual drab brown suit, is traveling on a crowded subway train and holding onto the strap hanging from the ceiling for his safety. It's a daily routine taking him to his workplace, where his job for many years has been in the customer complaints department, dealing with distraught people who purchased his company's occasional defective lawnmowers. Now, Mr. Weems has always had a lack of compassion for others, of which his employers took note of, so assigned him the job. For him, it's been a joy, as he likes to have power over his fellow man, with nothing giving him greater satisfaction than when he can manipulate a complaint to be the fault of the buyer and not having to issue a refund. Mr. Weems, being a man with few friends, sees that most people are just as greedy and selfish as he is, even though he would never admit it, being ready to complain about the slightest imperfection of what they bought. So he seldom accepts complaints as being valid, and has found devious ways in which to blame the problem on the way the buyer used the product. This has saved his company millions from being paid out over the years. "How dare them? Do they know who I am?" is the attitude he sees from the people who purchase defective products, brought about by the harboring of inner anger that boils up into a rage that allows to grow in intensity. Too often it's immeasurable on the outside until too late. As Mr. Weems stands staring between the many passengers on the train, not letting his eyes connect with the other individuals, something familiar catches his attention. Construction worker Hollis Deloy has a look on his face of grief, sorrow, and anger, as he lost his only little 6-year-old boy in a tragic accident at home a while back. The horror happened on a lovely sunny afternoon as Hollis was mowing his lawn with his son playing nearby. Then suddenly, without warning, 2 of the 4 blades that cut the grass dislodged themselves, flying off into the air. One blade embedded itself in a nearby tree, with the other traveling through the air in such a way with great force that it sliced the top half of his son's head clean off just above the eyes. The blood sprayed onto the newly mowed grass as the boy's body twitched for a few seconds, then ceased all movement. There was nothing his father could do but break down and cry, pray, and curse. That was a month ago, but the ongoing pain inside Hollis was tormented even more when he received a standard A4 letter, one which he now holds in his hand and is staring at. For he also was standing in the crowded subway car, grasping one of the hanging safety straps, reading that the fault with the mower was his for pushing it over gravel and rocks, and so will now receive no compensation. Snap! And suddenly it's all too much. Mr. Deloy reveals from his coat pocket a .45 caliber handgun. 5 shots ring out as bullets tear into a beating heart, a frightened face, and splattering bloody brain tissue in all directions. He fires the last round into his eye, ensuring that his brain that did this will do it no more, and never knowing who he killed. As for Mr. Weems, he now lays dead with the top half of his head blown off, and the A4 letter he sent Mr. Hollis falling upon his face.
You've just experienced the horror that goes around.
A Poor Person Productions, copyright 2016, written, recorded, and produced by Dave Tor. That's me. Thank you for listening.